Get ready for a new level of impact. This is season 3 of the Iron Man Empowerment Podcast. We're diving deep into the body of Christ with thought-provoking topics, motivational talks, and the tools every man needs to lead his family with power and purpose.
Introducing Pastor Rod Charles, Pastor Clive Atkinson,
Bishop Upton Morris,
and I am your host, Elder Edmund Muir. Together, we're the Iron Man team, and we're here to sharpen one another. Catch us every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern or 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on HGG Radio. The Iron Man Empowerment Podcast. Real men, real talk, kingdom empowerment. Remember, we're not just talk, we are informative. Good morning to you one more time, and thank you for joining us here on another episode of the Ironman Empowerment Podcast. It's good to be back here. It's good to be on. Yes, indeed. And this morning we have another powerful topic. The topic is reintegrating a prodigal partner into a marital relationship. We're looking into strategies for addressing trust breaches, emotional healing, and building intimacy. I'm your host, Elder Edmund Muir. Of course, we have with this morning Pastor Clive Atkinson and Pastor Rod Charles. I want to say that early this morning when I checked the chats, Pastor Rod, I saw, believe it or not, Sister Sonia was on, but there was someone else, but I'm not seeing that right now. But we'll get back to that. In the meantime, how are you doing, sir? Pastor Rod?
I am doing absolutely amazing. Just want to give a quick shout out to my daughter this morning. She's 12 years old today. Today's her birthday. So God bless you, May, and have an amazing day. But also, we're quickly and slowly, approaching, Rise Up coming up next week. So we're just in the thick of it, trying to get all the details battened down. So God has been good to us, and we're really feeling the support running into this meeting, so it's going to be amazing.
Happy birthday to you, little May, coming from the Ironman Empowerment team right here on HGG Radio. Enjoy your day. Make it a good day.
Rise Up 2026 is here. Starting March 21st, 10 a.m., we kick things off with a powerful roundtable discussion with pastors and ministry leaders from all over Parkland and beyond. Then we take it deeper with an afternoon teaching session with Pastor Brett, author of The Hope Habit. And we're not done yet. Our Now Generation sessions are happening simultaneously and is going to be next level for full of teaching, discussion, and fun designed for the youth. Saturday night, don't miss the dynamic word from Elder Craig Irish. Sunday morning, we're blessed to hear from Elder Benito Grange. And whatever you do, don't skip Sunday night. Join us for Praise in the Parkland, a powerful worship experience you won't soon forget. Rise up, be equipped, be inspired for what's happening in 2020.
Whatever you do, don't miss Rise Up. It's coming your way on the weekend.
Amen. Yeah, we're really excited about that. Sunday night, we got some really good artists as well coming down. The Windettes, who ministered so amazingly in the One Love One concert. One Heart concert there, and And we got Rewo, which is a local artist, just amazing in her gospel endeavors. We've got the HGG worship band coming, and it's gonna be amazing.
Wow.
We're so excited. Just to highlight really quickly, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. we're going to have a round table discussion about compassionate outreach with our pastors and ministry leaders, and just inviting everyone who can come down. It's going to be an amazing day. Yeah.
There you hear it from the man himself, Pastor Rod Charles. It's going to be an amazing day. And of course, today is also an amazing day because you're here with us on the Ironman Empowerment Podcast. Oh yes, indeed. That's so lovely. I could listen to that sound over and over again. And I want to say good morning to all those who are online with us this morning. I see Sister Sonia Bowen. Sister Sonia says, "Good morning to all God's children. This is a day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." We're rejoicing indeed. And of course, Jacqueline Brown says, "Happy Saturday." And of course, meet us here or beat us here. We have been by some folks this morning, but nevertheless, we're moving on strong on the Ironman Empowerment Podcast.
Amen.
Let me
Amen.
set things up, Pastor Rod. Let me
Come on.
set it
Come
up.
on.
Marital relationships can be profoundly tested when one partner strays, leaving the other grappling with feelings of betrayal and uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
The journey to reintegrate a prodigal partner is complex, requiring both individuals to navigate a landscape of emotional upheaval and mistrust. While the path forward may appear daunting, it also presents a unique opportunity for growth, understanding, and renewed commitment. Central to this process is the challenge of addressing trust breaches. Trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship, and its restoration demands patience, transparency, and consistent effort from both partners. Open communication, accountability, and setting clear expectations can help begin in the process of healing and reestablishing a sense of security within the marriage. Emotional healing and rebuilding intimacy are equally important aspects of reintegration. Partners must be willing to confront painful emotions, offer forgiveness, and
Yeah.
create space for vulnerability. Through mutual support and a willingness to rebuild together, couples can rediscover intimacy and strengthen their bond, ultimately laying the groundwork for a resilient and fulfilling marital relationship. Wow. Pastor Rod, before I get your opening thoughts, I want to kick it off with a clip because I have a few clips that we'll draw from today. So let us hear what this gentleman has to say. He's a life coach, of course, and his name is Clifton Brantley. Whilst I was doing a little bit of research to come on, I came up on his post. So let us hear what he has to say.
Reality and decided to work on it. Number one, first, I want to applaud you. That's not an easy thing to do. That's not an easy decision. But I want to give you some tips to help you get off the struggle bus and onto a better marriage. You need to believe that you can have a better marriage and a better one than it was before. The marriage you had before is gone, it's dead, it's over. You're going to create something new. Okay, couples who are successful at navigating these troubled waters end up with a stronger and more intimate marriage, typically. Now, I'm gonna give you 5 tips for the cheater. I'm gonna give you 5 tips for the victim or the one who was cheated on, and then I'm gonna give you 5 tips for you guys as a couple, for the marriage. Okay. So first, for the cheater, number 1, you need to become a transparent person. If you're not already a transparent person, you need to become a transparent person, not just an honest person. Honesty is when you tell the truth when you're asked. But transparency is about volunteering information without being asked. Okay, your partner does not.
Pastor Rod, transparency. He mentions that you need to be transparent. Do you agree with this? I'll just keep him on whilst we scan through this
Mm-hmm.
clip.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is a trait that I feel needs to be mastered by men very very quickly and early on in their marriage. Um, One of the things that I believe is some of the hurdles that keep people from walking in success in their marriage is communication. It's downheartedly communication, and it's true what he's saying. Honesty is a one-way thing when it's volunteered, but transparency is really the act of loving one another with information.
Mm.
I'm able to allow you to see the 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 very interior of my heart. You know, and you know that's why when you're sitting on the couch with your loved one and you're staring off into space as you know just trying to figure out stuff, the first question a woman will ask you is, honey, what are you thinking? Because they want to know they want to know your mind.
Right, right.
They want to know your heart. They want to know your plans. You know, the the worst thing you can do to a woman is keep her in the dark. The
Mm.
worst, the worst thing you can do is hide your good intentions or ill intentions. It's better you come out with it and just be transparent so that you guys can put things on the table and learn from each other who you really are, because we all have these barriers that we put up, these social barriers. We have an agreement that we learn very early that if I am transparent, then I am also vulnerable. And your spouse is the right person to be vulnerable with.
That's right, Pastor. And I believe if you really need this relationship, if you value your relationship, you will be transparent.
That's
Because
the
for
key.
me, if you're not transparent, it means
Uh-huh.
therefore that you're hiding things and you're
Mm-hmm.
prone to doing what you did before and cause more hurt. So transparency is key. So I do agree with him. Let us
Mm-hmm.
hear him continue to dissect this. And
Be,
remember,
be, before
listeners,
before you start there, you said something very important. It's whether you value and put priority on the relationship. If you don't value that relationship, it will show.
yes, yes, for sure.
If
It
it's not
will.
your priority, it will it will, in the hierarchy of things that you're trying to conquer as a man in your life, it will show, right? So a man has to actively put his relationship um you know, on a higher level with the relationship that he has with his wife and his family. He has to put that on a higher level than his career. He has to put that on a higher level than getting ahead in life, making money,
That's
you
right.
know, finding esteem amongst his peers. He has to put that on a higher level in order for him to be successful. Otherwise, it'll always come second place to something else. And that in itself is the hallmark and the precursor for your marriage to be going down on the downward curve when you're not prioritizing that relationship properly.
That's very good, Pastor Rod. It's good that you expound on that a little bit. I want to pause a moment. I am encouraging all the listeners to share this link. If you know, if you have friends that are planning to get married or those who are married, share this link. It is a
Mhm.
powerful session this morning, and it will help you to overcome some struggles in your marriages. Imagining taking back someone who has strayed away from you. We call it the prodigal partner this morning. What are the things you should look for? What are the emotions? And we're playing a clip here by what's his name again? Clifton Bradley, that
Mm.
speaks to not the person that is offended, but the person that commits the offense now, some things that they should, because of course, you recognize when a person commits the offense, they want to be reintegrated in the relationship easily, but it's not so. There's some
Not
things that
so
they must
easy.
do. And he mentions being transparent. So let us continue to listen to him, and then we'll come to Pastor Clive and hear what he has to say.
I want to have to ask you things about what's going on in your life. If you already have difficulty sharing your world, then this may be harder than normal for you, but you need to get away from that. Okay. Most of the people I deal with do not want to be the kind of spouse that checks the phone and always questioning, where you going, where you been? Like, who wants to do that? So you need to help them out by being upfront and open about everything, even if you think it's not a big deal. Also, in conjunction with being transparent, make sure that there are no more secrets. Okay. Wow. So if you guys are in the beginning, this is especially true for you, but even if it's been some years and you're trying to work on it, but you hadn't gotten that traction yet, make sure there are no more secrets. Okay. If you're trying to rebuild, but you haven't told your partner everything, you are setting yourself up for more trauma and drama. Number two, you have.
Before we go to number two, Pastor Rod, I'm still waiting on Pastor Clive to jump on in. Make sure there is no more secrets. This is speaking to the one that has committed the offense. And many times what they do is that they fall into the trap of covering up. And so they might reveal a part, but they have kept other parts. And that becomes a problem, because what I have learned is that things will come up over the years. So when you withhold things from your partner, you're going in and you're covering up pieces and pieces. After a while, the pieces fit together. And then what do? It's a setup for a disaster in your marriage. And so if you are the one that has caused this for whatever reason, it might not be infidelity, but it could be something else, and your partner seems a bit willing to take you back, then there are things that you must do. And this is very important. Don't keep secrets. Just let it go, because when it hits a month after, a year after, 10 years after, it's going to be. Listen, I was having a discussion with some folks recently, and it was an issue almost 30 years old.
Wow.
Pastor Rod, and the emotions were high after 30 years, because everything was not revealed, everything was not open to all parties involved. And so it's very important that no secrets are kept. Just say it right there and then, because you're trying now to build back trust in your relationship. Let us continue to listen to what he is saying here.
To learn how to comfort your partner when they're dealing with the pain of what you did. You got to learn how to comfort them. A lot of times, and men and women cheat, but most of the time it's women, right? And when they see their wife hurting, they want to go the other way.
Okay, disclaimer here. I recognize he placed here that he meant to say that it is mostly men in his experience that does the cheating, right? So let us just bear that in mind.
Give her space, and you may want to give them space. That's when you actually need to come close to them. Okay. Now, of course, you got to learn from them how to comfort them, but make sure that you are ready and willing to be their rock. Now, I understand this is hard. One thing I tell my offenders is try to see yourself as your partner's best friend, as opposed to seeing yourself as their spouse in those particular times, right? Tell yourself, I'm going to comfort.
Pastor Rod, how is this possible, though? I mean, you have committed an act, and your partner is now offended. How do you become your partner's best friend in that moment, when your partner is angry, when your partner has feelings that's out of whack, out of control, and everything is just pointed to you because of what you have done? How do you become your partner's best friend?
Well, it's it's going to take some work, and this is the thing. This is the thing that men struggle with, because, and it goes back to my previous point, if there's not a priority there, then you're not going to put in the work in order to make this happen. And one of the most ridiculous thing is the normalization of crazy. All right. Because you can live in a state of not acknowledging the things that you need to do longer than you step into a state where you're going to have to nurture and move forward. And the reason why men don't do that is sometimes, whether it's instant gratification or long-term gain, we don't see the fruits because we don't see the priority or the investment of that relationship as valuable. Let you try and put your socks on, by yourself, if you can if you can do it. Let you try and cook, for yourself. Let you try and figure out certain situations without that woman in your life. Then you'll start to see the benefits and the attributes. And men see things as a lost gain type of equation in their heads. But when they start to see that I've messed around with my best friend, that's a different turn. When someone, when you put it in terms like that, like what this gentleman is doing, because when you say spouse, it's a role. When you say husband, it's a role, right? So then it becomes a job. Right, it's something you have to do. It's not an entitlement, but it is something that you if you could take a vacation from it, you would, right? And that in itself is a dangerous place to be as men. But when you see this person as your life partner, your best friend, the person who you wake up beside and smile, that in itself is a difference. And brethren, men, I'm telling you, when you see that person, in the hierarchy of the things, when you mess up, when you do things that are contrary to the commitment that you've made to that person, there's going to be some work that you have to do in order for you to get back and exceed, right? Because we're not just talking about getting back to normalcy, we're talking about growth. And growth takes work, it takes nurturing, it takes it takes commitment to the outcomes. And that's where men sometimes fall down. And as we continue this, remind me to go back to not just the micro, but to the macro of how infidelity and trust breaches work within the family, not just in the marriage.
Really.
We'll come back to that. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Pastor Rod. Thank you, Pastor Rod. We'll take Pastor Clive in just a moment after we have done listening to this. But I want to say that is why it's important for us, Pastor Rod, to make our spouses our best friends before. So something might happen, and then you'll have to try to find that best friend. But if you were not a best friend before, it's going to be hard in that situation, right? It's going to be very hard.
That's why the vows say forsaking all others.
That's right.
Because you can I mean, there's a difference between you know, that family friend, that your good best friend, out there, the guy you call when you're stuck on the side of the road, right? There's a difference. But when you're talking about that friend who knows you on a most intimate level, who understands you on in the most intricate and intimate way, that has to be your wife.
That's right.
It has to be.
Amen. Must be your wife or your spouse. Sister Alvira says, wow, treacherous waters. Yes, indeed. And
Indeed,
she,
ma'am, indeed.
yes, she went on to say that wine and roses alone won't work. We got to
No,
tell
no.
somebody, echo it out there. Wine and roses alone won't work.
No.
You need to find your best friend and be a best friend to that best friend. But let us continue to listen to what this gentleman is saying here.
My friend about what their spouse did. It sounds crazy, but until you are secure enough to hear and see their pain without running away or without being defensive, then you're going to prolong the pain. So find a way to be the comfort that they need. All right, number 3, keep your word. Okay? Make sure that don't say things and then not follow through with them. And it could be the smallest of things. I'm not talking about like life-altering decisions. It can be small things. But because you are trying to rebuild trust, every misstep matters. Okay? If you're going somewhere, tell your partner where you're going. If you say you're going to pick up the kids from school on Wednesday, then pick up the kids from school on Wednesday. If you say you're going to cook Friday for the family, then cook Friday for the family. Okay? This helps build trust. Number 4, don't get defensive when your partner asks you questions about the situation. This is not just for new, like people where this is new, even years down the line. Okay? Don't get defensive when they ask you questions. These questions may not come at you in the most pleasant way or the most respectful way, but your role is to not get defensive no matter what. If you get defensive, you're going to derail the rebuilding process. I'm telling you that. Trust me. Okay. You have to learn how to ignore the disrespect when it comes to, you have to learn to ignore the disrespect when it comes and give your partner what they need in the moment. Now, I'm not saying just allow them to just mistreat you. What I'm saying is sometimes when their emotions are raw, they may give it to you and it's disrespectful. Learn to block that, give them what they need. And then y'all can talk about the disrespect or whatever later when things calm down. And then this is number 5, the fifth tip I have for the cheater: go to therapy. Get you some individual therapy. This is the great time for you to go to therapy and work on your individual stuff. Okay? You need to understand why you did what you did, and you also need to heal any limiting beliefs that may have played a part in your decision. So when you go to therapy, have things that you want to work on and be open to the process, especially you men. We're here to help. When I say we, I mean coaches and therapists.
That's right. That's right. Coaches and therapists, they're here to help. Pastor Clive, good morning to you, sir. I want you to come on in. A lot have been said. Come on in, Pastor Clive, and talk to us on this topic. I know you're burning to talk on this topic today. Go ahead, Pastor Clive.
Oh,
Yes,
thank you so
sir.
much. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Great topic this morning. I don't think you can use 1 week to really discuss this topic and to really get everything in perspective, because we're looking at this topic. You take one life one person's life coming into another person's life to make a life together. and it's not going to build overnight. And I hear you say something about building friendship with your significant other. I want to say this, that you don't gain trust when you get into the relationship. You gain trust before.
That's right.
You don't gain trust when you get into the relationship. You gain trust before. If I don't trust you before, and and feel comfortable, and then once I get into the relationship, something may happen. So what we do, we build whatever we had before, so that the trust can maintain. You see what I'm saying? And then once you start to live a life, because we're talking about Christian now, we're not talking about you're not in the church, and persons out in the world, they have no uh, no no reason to not give trouble if they want to. But we're talking about Christians. Well, in the church, we have to live a certain life, and to make sure that we are not living a double life. Sad to say, it happens. Sad to say.
That's right.
But when you're in the church, there's a certain expectation for us, and as we live our lives for to each other, we strive to please each other, in order for us to gain and continue what we're starting off. I say that to say this, Pastor Rod and Elder Muir, is that when you lose trust in an individual prior to get married, you will never gain it back. You'll never gain it back. If there's any, they call it, if you see any red flag, and if there's a red flag, marriage is not going to fix the red flag.
No,
And,
marriage
and,
will never
and
fix a red flag. Never.
no, never. It doesn't fix it. We have to fix us as individual, whether man or woman. Fix yourself, making sure that this is what you're doing. This is what the relationship you're going to go into. This is all serious, and all of us have our lives prior to, and I was not born in the church. I was not born in the church. I had a son when I was like 18, turning 19, out of the church, right? And getting married and getting to being in the church, get married, and I would say to someone, if I should live all my life all over again, I would do it all over different. Do I have regrets? No. I love my children and everything like that. But just the way how, I would live my life, I would live it a little bit different, Pastor Rod. And for most of us, we can look back and say, "Oh my goodness, I could have done this better. And I
Yes.
would have done this better." Because as we young, we would have do some things that we are not pleased with. And there's some actions that we take, maybe maturity. As you get older, you look at life differently, and you're now mature, and you'd want to figure out how can we get therapy, and figure out how can we get fixed. And again, you can't fix somebody else. The person has to want to fix themselves. And once they fix themselves, then you can look at a long haul relationship. So there's a lot to be said about the relationship.
That's right.
A lot to be said about relationship. A lot to say about premarital counseling. A lot to say about premarital, and even while you're in the marriage. The other day I tell my wife, I said, we need counseling. she's like, what's the problem? I said, I don't feel like you're giving me enough attention.
And there's nothing wrong with a little oil change now and then.
Oh Lord, I'm a touchy feely type of person. Like my love language. I love just rub my head. It doesn't take much to satisfy, but just rub my head. Just let me feel like I'm here. I'm in the room. But yeah, she grew up a little bit different, but that won't stop. You see, you're coming from one walks of life, your partner is coming from one walks of life. When you come together, you have to learn to understand each other, because you're going to have some stuff that she doesn't like, and she's going to have some stuff that you don't like, right? But as you come together, you can deal with them, talk about them, and as long as it's not going to break the camel's back, it's something that you can sacrifice and compromise and say, hey, this, and this, and look
So,
over
so,
so that we do
so
not find
Pastor
out.
Clive, what I'm getting from you is that if you don't have the foundation right, you're going to end up in problems. And then if it was right, there are chances of you taking back or you going back because you had a solid foundation. So
Yes,
that's what I'm getting from what you're saying. Foundation is important.
yes, yeah, you have to have your foundation right, because that's the main thing. That's the main thing, is to make sure that your foundation is right. I'll just share a little bit. You know, when I got married, my wife, we didn't court. Literally, we didn't court. It was because when we got married, it wasn't like it was something planned. Like literally, I just know her for years.
Come
Pastor
on,
Rock.
Pastor. Every marriage is planned. Marriages are planned,
When I
Pastor Clive. Come on.
when I said plan, meaning that,
Mhm.
you know, like it's within a short span of time, we decided, this is what, you know, I want to move on with my life, and this is what I want to do. And then we talked about it, and then the parents talk about it, and we arrive at, this is what we're going to do.
Was
When I
the
say that,
lengthy
when I
period.
say that, is that, you know, when you, Rodney, you know, when you, for years, you look at the person, you're there talking to them, and you're like looking at, it wasn't like that. No, it wasn't like that. We're like, yeah, she's what? No. My eyes were elsewhere. my eyes were in Jamaica, I was in Toronto, or in England, or in the US. My eyes was elsewhere when it was time. But when you get to know somebody and you become you know them inside out, their family friend, and you know, you get to know the person, you know, if when the conversation is happening, you can, like, you know what, I could see myself, because you know the person, you know them, you know their highs, their low, their their, you know, their temperament, you know everything, you know, not everything, but you know enough that you could say, go into it blindly and say yes, and it works. My wife and I are married for 12 years, and we have never had an argument to the point where, you know, we have discussions. We have, you know, we don't have fights. We have discussions, and we have, you know, serious, intense discussions about some things. And if we can't resolve it right there and then, we're going to leave it and come back to it, because I don't like leaving unresolved issues, because they come back with heads, and you have to leave some heated conversation, or not heated as in cussing me and cussing you, is that we have conversation. I believe that two adults coming together, no, there's no need for um, for fights. I don't, especially Christians. I'm talking about trying to live a healthy marriage, a healthy
That's right.
relationship.
That's right, Pastor Clive. I'm going to pull you back a little bit because there's a lot to go into. I know you have a lot to be released and a lot you want to say, but we're going to proceed, and then we're coming back to you shortly so you can get as much as you want to get out this morning, because it's a powerful topic, a wonderful topic indeed. I see where Sister Tara Swaby says this is really powerful and informative. Let me draw back again to what Clifton was saying. He's a life coach. Let us hear some more. Let us go into another clip from him now.
You forgive, because if you do, you're likely going to damage the marriage more. Okay. When you decided to stay, you also decided to not punish your partner anymore. I know that you're crushed, right? I know it hurts, but crushing your partner it won't help your marriage. It won't make things better by you hurting them. I've heard too many stories of spouses treating their offender, treating their partner harshly, and then the person who did the dirt, who did the crime, they just take it because they feel like it's what they believe, and I mean it's what they deserve, and they can't do anything about it. No, 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 no. If you're more committed to punishing your partner instead of healing your marriage, then you need to let them go. If you're going to punish them and you're going to punish them, let them, for what? Just let them go. Because if you don't, you're doing way more damage than you can imagine. And I'm talking about to your own soul, not to them. I'm talking about to you. With this first tip, and I talk about forgiveness. Let me share a few things with you about forgiveness, because people a lot of times get forgiveness confused, and it's important to get this forgiveness thing right. Forgiveness doesn't mean that I'm over the hurt. If I forgive you, it doesn't mean I've stopped hurting. Right? I may still hurt. Forgiveness doesn't mean, when I forgive you, that doesn't mean we're better. There's work to do. I can forgive you up front, but we still got a lot of work to do. Okay? Forgiveness is not a feeling, it's a decision. So it's not necessarily based on how you feel, because the truth is, I don't know when you're going to feel like forgiving.
Pastor Rod, I believe the first thing that we do is want to hurt the person that hurt us.
Whew.
And many people, it happens. And so many persons end up doing things that they regret because they want to hurt that person so bad. Talk to us a little bit.
I've seen it, and and the thing that the way that I frame forgiveness is a doorway, not a hallway. Right? You walk through forgiveness in order for you to get to a place of trust, and get to a place of understanding and processing. So you make that decision, but there's still a lot of things that you have to do in order for forgiveness to work for you. But in regards to the way that folks treat each other, is because there is still that lingering feeling of justification and revenge for things that have been done to them, and without moving forward off of that platform, right? You are standing on a place where you'll always try and check the person. You'll always try and remind them what you did to me. You always try and justify your actions of anger and disagreement and attitude and disrespect from that place. So the hard thing for the person who has been cheated on, the hard thing is the acceptance that in order for us to move together in this direction of healing, meaning that the answers to the whys, the answers as to how could this happen, and also the feeling of rejection may not always be processed right there and then. So there needs to be an acceptance that this is a journey. This is a portion that needs to be moved through, so that you can move on. Otherwise you're it's like carrying a toddler who doesn't want to go in that direction. You're always beaten, and crying out, and temper tantrums, and and sooner or later, depending on the person's commitment to reinitialize this this relationship, it will fall apart again in the process of healing, right? Because the display, where it's coming from, And it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You hurt me, so I have to hurt you back, right? And as I'm hurting you back, I can't I can't escape the fact that you're punishing me. So now I'm gonna hurt you again, and it just becomes this revolving door that we're in. So it's important for somebody to be have some self-control, some temperance, in order for you to get past this, so you can really properly heal. It's important. It's so important. God, that's why, God is working on us in transformation and healing, and that's what we need at this point in your marriage.
Pastor Rod, healing is an ongoing process.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to understand that. And the approach that many persons take about forgiving their partner, it's not the right approach. They have not truly forgiven. And that's the thing. I see here in the chat as well, I see where is it? Someone spoke on this. Yes. Sister Tara says many times we're taught that forgiveness is forgetting the hurt that was done. Or what an error in teaching, right? And this is where we have what she calls emotional blackmail. Wow, emotional blackmail. Can you imagine? And some persons want to feel, okay, I'm winning now, so I do what I want to do. I don't care about what my spouse feels. At that time, they're actually hurting the person because they were hurt. But before I bring you in, Pastor Clive, I want to talk a little bit on forgiveness. I have here a clip from Hassani Pettiford, and I want to hear what he's saying, because it's important that we understand this forgiveness aspect before we can say, yes, we're coming back together, because there are different aspects to forgiveness.
Wow. Yeah, definitely.
Personal history when it comes to forgiveness. And so anytime I'm working with a couple, there are 5 critical questions that I ask them that they have to answer for themselves to see if they're ready. Question number 1, what has been my overall experience with forgiveness? So think about your childhood. Think about the environment that you were raised in. Think about what you've seen and what you've been exposed to. What has been your overall experience with forgiveness? Number 2, have I been easily forgiven, and do I easily forgive? Question number 3, have the ones who have hurt me quickly identified their wrongdoing and corrected their behavior? Question number 4, have people in my past apologized only to use it as an escape from punishment without changing their behavior? And question number 5, do I still have some influential individuals in my life who need my forgiveness, or that I need to ask their forgiveness? These are critical questions to ask, because oftentimes it is very difficult to do what you have no history doing. And so if you're an individual who's used to holding grudges and being bitter and remaining in resentment and can't seem to forgive, you haven't forgiven your siblings, you haven't forgiven your parents, you haven't forgiven your best friends from 15, 20 years ago, what makes you think that you can easily and quickly forgive your spouse? You have no track record for it. And so it requires you asking yourself these questions to check your heart to see where you're at, because it will allow you to know how easy or how challenging this journey of forgiveness is.
Is it challenging though, Pastor Clive? Forgiveness? Talk to us.
It's hard for me to sit there, because as you listen to him, if you struggle with unforgiveness, it takes the Holy Ghost to really get rid of it. It's not going to happen overnight, Elder Muir. If you're a person that struggles with unforgiveness, you will enter into a marriage, the husband hurt you, and you hold on to it and every day you bring it up when there's an argument.
Every day.
You're like,
Yeah.
you remember, and you pile them up, you compile them up, you stack them. You remember last year, you remember, you
Yeah.
remember. And that remember pushes you into a dark place, and you lose yourself, and you no longer, you see you fall out of love. You see what I'm saying? But when you struggle with unforgiveness, you have to, as I said earlier, we are way down the road, Eldamir. I'm telling you right now with this. We're way down the road. There's a lot of things that need to be done before you even get here. Because if I arrive right here in marriage, I've never learned anything to say, Clive, don't go. Peter, don't go. Paul, don't go. Don't do it. Deal with yourself. So it's important that when you're getting married, you go sit with a counselor and deal and face the issues that you're dealing with from childhood. Because I'm telling you, some of us have some childhood trauma. Because
Yes.
when marriage comes, Pastor Rod, you're gonna have as we're getting older, things are gonna happen in our life that causes us to reflect, and things are gonna happen where gonna hurt us. And we're gonna say, how do we deal with this? How do we handle this? So if I have my past hurt and past pain dealing with, I don't care how much tongues you're speaking in. I ain't gonna deal with it until you sit down with yourself and says, God, I'm gonna have to let this go. Because though I speak with the tongues of man and of angel and have no love, it profit me nothing. So as much as I'm speaking in tongues, yes, but you can speak in tongues that don't have love, and don't have forgiveness,
Gotta be
and
a
don't have,
deliberate
and
choice.
don't have. So we're way down the road. Unforgiveness. Unforgiveness is a silent. I'm trying to use our. It's like having cancer.
It's like an assassin.
It's slowly killing you.
Poison. It's a
Yeah.
poison. A
Poison
poison.
in you. You see, so you have to learn to, let it go. My sisters, we all had issues. They all hurt me at some point in time, right? But we have to learn to forgive. And if you can't exercise forgiveness in your regular 9 to 5 at work and regular life with your family and stuff, enter into marriage. I'm telling you, sex will never fix it. Sex
No.
don't fix it, because trust me, it wear off.
Can I jump in
Go
really
ahead,
quickly,
Rev.
gentlemen? With this, because Elamir, we were talking about the macro and the micro,
Yes.
and the microcosm of the marriage is not contained in one lifetime. The thing that people do not understand is that when you have children, it has lifetime effects. They are patterning. They see now how you problem solve, how you forgive, how you work through things in your marriage. That thing is imprinted on their lives. And when the gentleman was talking in the clip about what you have seen as examples of forgiveness, how do you do this and that, it also echoes into your very mind the very things that you have seen growing up that are impactful. So cheating in a marriage does not just affect your spouse, but it affects your children when they see infidelity. Also, you will actually start to see in individuals, if you're keen enough, you can actually spot individuals who have had healthy inputs in their life as to how they treat their spouse and how they treat each other, and also adverse of that, you will actually see negative inputs on how things are done in their relationships. And so these things are longer lasting than what we think. So when an individual now who has had these negative inputs in their life goes into their own marriage, your son, your daughter, children in the marriage, experiencing brokenness and maybe even family violence, because of all of these things, um, that impacts that next generation, right? So it's bigger, and we're not just talking about two people. Now we're talking about 30 people, 40 people who have a problem with forgiveness. So your actions now have lasting endeavors. They walk past your
The
life.
ripple effects of
Oh
your
my gosh.
infidelity. My God.
Because my daddy, and when the big thing about daddy issues or mommy issues, this is documented stuff. The world can write you whole libraries on things that have gone on in a childhood past, and trauma, how their mother was treated, how their father was treated, and that shapes the person that they are today, and that keeps on going down through the ages. So fix it now. Fix it now.
Fix it
Amen.
now.
Pastor Rod,
Fix it
Pastor
now.
Rod,
Fix it now. Pastor Clive, one moment. Fix it now. Whatever it is that is happening, fix it now. You don't know what's going on in your
Mhm.
generations to come. Fix it now. It begins with you. Go ahead, Pastor Clive.
if we really understand the dynamic, Pastor Rod, as you were saying, if we really understand the dynamic, is that our children, mimic what they see in us, and this is how they're going to live their lives. I have decided in my life, for that I would not allow my children to see certain things early on in my life. And this is I have, as I said, I had a son. I have my son before being saved, before coming into the church at a young early age, and and but prior to, I make up in my mind that I was not going to allow him to see certain things as a young boy before I was even 20, because when they see certain things, they're going to grow up and think that this is normal, and now they're going to now turn around and do the same thing. So now you have a generation that have issues upon top of issues.
Right.
Let me just put the icing on the cake. When we look at North America, and we see I don't want to just singled out, but we notice that the first settlers, the first people, what I trying to get the name, but they have what's called a habit or a drinking problem, right? And with this drinking problem, it's like it's not leaving them. It's a generational thing. And as young as they are, you find yourself. We used to go to the prison. I did around 12, 14 years in the youth facility or remands with the young people. And 80% of them were there. And I'm telling you, they do not. It's like a cycle that never get fixed. Mommy come and do it, daddy's doing it. And the cycle just keep going on. Whether it's, they will drink Lysol, they will drink mouthwash, pass around.
Mhm.
And it just keep on going. So when you change the direction of your life, you have to look at your children and say, no, I cannot allow my kids to come and do this. And don't be selfish. This is where selfishness dies.
That's right.
I said, no, I can't allow my children. So in my previous life, I realized that if I don't not say anything, there's a lot I can say, but I just want to just kind of dance around this right now. But I had to say, I will not allow you to pull me into this direction for my kids to see us doing this. Because our children is going to grow up and think this is normal. And because we're struggling with unforgiveness, and now you're going to pull them in, I want them to, but how can I help them not being there, but still help them? I have to learn how to be silent, how not to flare up, how not to spit out any venom. I'm
That's
helping
right.
a man this morning.
Come on.
Sometimes you're now in a relationship that you have separation and your children live with the mother. And not because they live with the mother, and then every time the kids come, you're bashing the mother. You're damaging your own children.
Hold up
You
there,
know?
Pastor Clive. Something just came to me. Whilst you're speaking, I've known of couples, they were together and they had a bad breakup, a bad divorce, but then later on in their life, they came back together. But the problem with that is that they have already damaged the kids and now they're back together living in love.
And that's again, and that's what I'm saying is that I have 3 girls. I went through that separation, divorce. However, I do not allow what mom and dad had. I will not allow it to come into the relationship with the kids, because if I damage these girls, if I damage these young ones, what's going to happen is I'm going to have to deal with the consequence later. So I choose to be at peace when things are thrown at me. I take all the blow. When I've been painted the bad person, until one day my kids grew up and said, all along we thought you were the bad one. And I am saying, you know what? You know, sometimes you can't even answer because you don't want to give a wrong something for them to start to think outside of the box. Remember, you're trying to protect your children from going into marriage, from going into some marriage and they go with that bitterness, that same, oh, my dad did this, my dad did that. Listen to me. When I was a young man, I saw my dad did some things to my mother. And I'm telling you, it traumatized me that I said, I want to live the opposite way of my dad. My dad was a womanizer. He has girl everywhere. Old man, big old man, full up of gray hair. And his girlfriend is younger than his children. What kind of nonsense is this? So I grew up and I said, no, you have no respect for yourself.
Right.
And him and I would have serious conversation. I said, yeah, you need to respect. I said, I don't feel like you respect me. Or you gonna have a girlfriend that don't want to, when she see me, she want to talk to me as your son. So him and I would have this kind of conversation, right? I said, act your age, you're a big grown individual. So him and I would butt head where those things are concerned. So now I make up in my mind that will never happen. What I saw in my father, I would not want my children to see that in me. My children do not see a relationship outside of their mother or the person that I'm married to into a serious, no shack-up relationship. None of my kids ever see me in a shack-up situation. None. And I have 34-year-old children. 34, somewhere there. Earhole. And I do not allow that because listen to me, you're damaging your children. Elder Muir said it. You know, you break up, you damage the person's name, say all type of negative things about their father, but now here you back in the relationship. What have you done to those kids prior to? Trust me, it's somewhere in the back of their mind, and they're like, think, oh, is this normal? Is this normal? And they go into a marriage and they treat their spouse the same way. And when they finish with the spouse, we just keep on having the domino effect in relationship.
Michael.
We have to make sure that when we're entering into a relationship, we'll fix ourselves. Fix
True word,
yourself.
Pastor
Don't
Clive.
enter into no relationship and you need to be fixed. Sex cannot fix you. You need to
Fix
enter in a
yourself.
relationship with you being fixed, with you being wholesome, where you feel within yourself that I am ready. Last thing, last point, and I know we need to go for a break, but last point. Pastor Rod, let me say this. When you're fixed and you're ready, your husband will find you. And you cannot get married without you being a wife first. You don't get married to become a wife. Let me say it again. You don't get married and then become a wife. The Bible says, he that findeth a wife, that means you're a wife first. You learn to cook, you learn to have good behavior, you learn to do everything, and like vice versa. You don't become a husband for she to say yes after get married. No, 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 no. That characteristic must first develop inside of you. You have some 18-year-old that is very mature more than some 30-year-old.
Mm.
You have some 20.
Pastor Clive, we have this saying in Jamaica, you know, you have to be a wife material. So some people, they're not wife material. They need to work on themselves.
Neither husband material either, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, you have some good women out there that are wife material, as you would say, and they are not married. And you have some women who married who are not wife material, damaging their husband, and they feel, I'm going to talk the truth up in here. They're damaging their husband. The husband is stressed out.
Yes.
And they have some good woman that's not married and they're home and single by themselves. And they're contented in themselves, but they may not look the bougie. They may not have the Coca-Cola bottle shape. They may not have the face with it, but they have the character. They have everything else. And they're home and they're not married. And then you'll find some that are married, and I'm telling you,
I think society has led us, Pastor Clive, to look on the external, to look on beauty. But a wise man said in the Bible that favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that fears the Lord shall be praised. I want to pull our chat. I want to pull our listeners in before we go on a break. I wish we could skip that break, but you know how it is on this station, right? So Sister Pat says, forgiveness, whether it's husband, wife, children, whomever, we must remember that it is not about the people who hurt us. It's about freeing ourselves when we forgive those who hurt us. Do you want to be free? You're going to forgive and forgive the right way. That's what Sister Pat is trying to say to us. Of course, we spoke about the indigenous peoples earlier. I believe Pastor Clive was making a point about them. But as Sister Pat says here, it's not only Pastor Clive, just the indigenous peoples who does this every. Let me repeat that. It's not just indigenous peoples who does this. Every nationality has this issue. Generational trauma is in all nationalities. And I do agree with you, Lady Pat Henry. Of course, Pastor Clive was just trying to find an example that we as Canadians can look to. Also, Rebecca says that fix it right now. Somebody must echo that. Fix it right now. Fix it right now.
Fix it right now, man.
Especially
right
we
now.
that are saved. Especially we that are saved. Right? We have to be good examples by good examples. My God, this is very deep. Yes, it's deep. It's deep. It's deep. It is deep indeed. Pastor Clive, it is deep. It is warming up. And I believe that, let's hear what Sister Pat says here before we go to our Sister Tara first says, Pastor Clive, you hit it on the nail on the head. Over here at Higher Ground, we'd say you lick it till it busts, Pastor Clive. Sister Pat Henry say, you are so right. You are right. But he was referring to them during his example. Right. Sister Teresa says what? I agree with Sister Pat. Sister Teresa, blessings, Pastor Smith. Pastor Smith is on. Blessings to you.
Let me say this, Elder, before
Pastor
you move
Clive,
on.
when you speak, I want you to just go and just let us go on a break, because if not, we're just gonna go straight through. But go
We're
ahead.
just going to go straight. And we'll do the break afterwards. Let me say
Yes,
this.
let's go
Yes,
straight.
I agree with Sister Pat. I was using an example because of, just to bring out to our every culture, every people have their weaknesses and have their stuff. So I was just using it as an example. But we have to now learn how can we? We're talking about Christianity. How can we now help our fellow human family, the families of the earth? Whether you're black, white, red, pink, green, yellow, orange, whoever background. So this is a call for help, to help that couple, that married couple, that family, that whatever walk of life they're coming from, to be able to help somebody to be able to say, look here, I recognize that we were once going down this street. Only God can change a man's heart. Only
Only
God.
God can do it.
Only God can do it. So we have to look beyond the culture. So as I was using the example, is not to point out and just to single-handed out. We all have our issues. As I said, my father had an issue. I acknowledge from I was a young boy, my father had an issue. I went on a bus and see my father sit down and this young girl sitting in his lap, and we couldn't go to school, and he has his money spending time with these young girls, and we
My,
couldn't get
my.
lunch money to go to school. So I know that from a childhood that my father has an issue, and from a childhood I said to myself, "There's no way I'm going to live this life."
Not that
And
pattern.
that's why for me, all my children, I put it in their mind that, listen to me, the only way is you going to school, go to college, get the best education that you can, so forth and so on. Push them to the maximum. And if they want to turn workless, because they want to turn workless. If they don't want to go to college because they don't want to go to college, it wouldn't be on me, because I acknowledge that my father didn't do it for me, and I wanted to do it for my children. Is to break that cycle, and we as a people need to realize that we have to break cycles, and you have to
That's right.
break that cycle. Things that
Yeah.
happen to you don't necessarily mean that I'm going to. That's how I was raised, so I'm going to pass it on to my kids. No.
Pastor
Right.
Clive, we have to break some cycles, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your take? I need to go back to Clifton's, one of Clifton's clip, and then go back to my next clip. However, what's your take on the fact that many persons that commit different acts in a relationship are just tossed out? What's your take on that? Do you think when a person does something wrong in a marriage relationship, they should be tossed up? I know your answer, but I want you to expound on it a little bit. They cheat in their marriage. Do you
Let, let,
think they should be tossed out?
let me say this. Things happen in life. The older I become, when I was younger, I have a zero tolerance for nonsense like this. I would never want to be with somebody that find themselves in a compromising. And I'm still a zero tolerant. I'm zero tolerant. I'm not tolerant with that type of behavior. However, but as the older you become, you realize that something has to be wrong for a person to step out and to do what they do. Something is wrong. So then you'd want to, go in and try to figure out. No,
Pastor
when
Clive, something is wrong, not necessarily with you, but
yeah,
something can be wrong
I'm
with
getting,
the.
I'm
Yes,
getting there.
go ahead.
I'm getting there.
Mm-hmm.
So now trying to help the individual. If you're trying to help the individual, now if the individual don't want to change, they decide that's just their lifestyle. That's how they want to be, and sad enough that one day they're gonna get up and realize, oh my goodness, you know what? I did this and I did that. However, you cannot change anybody, but
That's
you
right.
can try to see how best you can get into counsel. And we're talking about forgiveness now. It's how the love is that you work through it. If you are in love with the individual, if you realize that the individual has made a mistake and you can live with it, then you're like, okay, yes. But if some persons, they will make their mistake and let you know that, like, there's no remorse. They're not remorseful. And if they're not remorseful over it, you're like, you know what? No, it can
They
happen again.
deflect, and they attack you, Pastor Clyde.
And then say,
You're
oh, it's because
attacked.
of you. I don't make you do nothing, right?
That's right.
I don't make you do nothing. I'm just here, and if you want to choose to do that type of lifestyle, that's your problem. But I am not going to be a part of that if that's what you're going to want to, do and to live that type of life. However, when the decision to be made, the entity have to make a decision on yourself, because Mr. Transmitted disease doesn't have respect of person. He's not going to say, oh, because you're a nice guy, you're a
That's
Christian, that
reality.
won't happen.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's the reality.
but where forgiveness, where forgiveness in all this comes in, it also goes based on your relationship and the respect that you have for each other. Because if something happened, and maybe it's just me, I'm like, from a conversation to the bedroom, or can't I realize that I shouldn't reach there? You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's something that is more than just get into a bedroom or get into wherever. It's more. Something is wrong. They need counseling. They have gone through trauma. Something is wrong. Something hurting. Something deep happening deep down inside, right?
Mhm.
Because when you choose somebody, you say, for better, for worse, in sickness and in health, to keep thee only, as long as thou liveth. And that's what the vow is,
Yes.
right? And you're serious about it. You're serious about it. And my little joke is always, even though I'm tall, dark, and handsome, you still have person that they don't care if you're a pastor, Pastor Rod.
Oh my
No.
goodness, no,
Girls
they
don't
do
care
not.
if you're a pastor.
Nope.
They don't care if you're a pastor. You go somewhere and they're talking to you, and you're kind of having a high. You're looking in them in the highball and you're having a conversation. Your hand is probably in your pocket, or your hand is it's not up in your face, so they don't see a ring. And by talking, and if you don't wear a ring, they'll say, so you start to listen to the conversation. They said, so are you married, or you have a family? And they try to pick to see, far. One young lady, in closing, asked me, am I happy being married? I said,
That's a
I'm
trick
happy.
question. Yeah, they use that, male and
I'm
female.
happy.
Always
She
use
said, no,
that
no.
one.
She said, are you really happy? I said, I am more than happy. Why?
Yeah, it's a ploy from the enemy, because men are drawn away from by things they can see, things that they can imagine, and what they can get away with. And a lot of times those three things come into alignment because there is brokenness that has not been addressed, things
That's
that
right.
they have not tackled, things that they have not
That's right.
being able to work through. And
Yes.
and self-development. This is what I say to our men who are out there. Self-development is so key, because we can't be punching down on all the men. You're a potential cheater. you're like, your self-development is so key. It will allow you self-development as a family man,
Yeah.
self-development as a husband, self-development as a father, self-development as a key proponent in your community. Those are the four pillars that are so lacking. And then lastly, self-development as a kingdom worker.
That's right.
Those are
100%.
those are the things that are, we find a lot of men, they're good at one of those pillars, right? And they fall down in the rest. But I want to challenge the men. Be a servant leader. Be a stellar husband. Be someone who can stand up in the community. Be someone who can your children can look up to. So as we move through life, you're gonna have some hurdles, and you're gonna have some things where you discover that this was ingrained in you from way back, beyond your recollection. You might have anger issues, you might have and these things come up with, you may not be the most patient person, you may not even you may not be kind. That's an attribute as a man. We're always thinking that men have to be gruff and tough and everything like that. You might be a jerk. You might be a person that no one wants to get close to. But brethren, seek self-development. Brothers, men, seek self-development. And as you are working on yourself, your spouse will say, wow, he's working on himself.
That's right.
So your children will say, oh, my dad is always reading books, my dad is always doing this to enrich himself and so forth. It becomes a culture that is surrounded around you. So
That's right.
please take the time to develop yourself so that you can
That's
grow
right.
your people.
Before we go, I have to pull Clifton back in because there's so much to uncover. I think we might have to come back next week on the same topic.
You need someone who understands your situation and who will be empathetic, but also will speak the truth to you in love. Because you may not have cheated, but perfect is what you're not. I've never seen a one-sided marriage where only one person in the marriage is tearing up everything, even with infidelity clients. So go to therapy, right? Now, this is going to help you deal with the trauma. It's going to help you deal with the automatic thoughts, the sleepless nights and all that. But it also can help you become a better spouse all around. Why? Because you don't want to take the old you into a new marriage. Like, let's fix everything. So go to therapy. And then lastly, nothing on this planet lasts forever. Okay? Nothing on this planet lasts forever, including your pain. See, when you're having a bad day, and a lot of times this is mostly in the beginning, but it could be at any time. But when you're having a bad day, it may feel like the pain will last forever or that things will never get better. That's not true. Okay, that's not true. You will have setbacks, but I encourage you not to make life-altering decisions while you are dealing with the deep pain that you're dealing with.
Pastor Clive, yes, very important for us to note. Never make life-changing decisions when you're going through your pain. That must be echoed every single place. Take some time, assimilate everything that's going on. Take some time and go through, divide the right, the wrong, the pros, the cons, and allow things to flow. Because if you make those decisions, you're going to regret some things, man. Pastor Clive, we have approximately 6 minutes to go. I'll take your closing remarks, and then I'll also take Pastor Rod's closing. In fact, I'll take Pastor Rod's closing remarks first, and then I'll take yours.
Amen. My closing remarks are that it's key to know yourself. Take some actual inventory before you get to the trust breaches and the emotional healing and the rebuilding of intimacy. Take some time to actually take some inventory for yourself. Find out who you really are. When you do so, you will be acquainted with the faults, the failures, and the mishaps that you might be potentially having in your marriage. When you do that, don't just stay there in your gloom and your doom. Actually, open up to your partner, to your spouse, to your wife, and begin to unpack these things. And as Pastor Clive has said, there's nothing wrong with you doing a coaching uh, session in order for you to get yourself to the next level, get your marriage to the next
Therapy.
level. Yeah, it's nothing. There's absolutely nothing wrong. I know, especially Black folks have a problem with therapy
Shrink with
because
the shrink.
yeah, because we think that we can handle it. We also feel that Christianity, our
Pray
Christian
about it.
walk, just go and pray about it. But please take the understanding, move from strength to strength, and help yourself by understanding who you are.
Thank you, Pastor Rod. Pastor Clive, your closing remarks.
My closing remarks is that again, I want to echo what Pastor Rod is saying. Spend time with you, get yourself help. Work on each other. If you're in a relationship, work on the relationship, make it stronger, make it better. The answer is not with that next person. The answer is not giving up and said, "Hey, you know what? I want to move over to there because over there has problem too. Over there
Mhm.
has more problems." And then when you move over there, you realize, oh no, you need to move over to the other one and move to
Better no.
block one, block two, block three, block four, block five. When you reach a block 10, you realize, oh my God, I realized that I should have stayed at block one, right? It's not going to get better. Everybody has issues, and we just have to work on each other. When you love the person for who they are, just work, and we all are a handful. Man is a handful, woman is a handful. We all have issues. We're coming from two different walks of life, coming together. And as we come together, we are going to have some type of level of issues in our lives. And all we have to do is just work. Just when you love the person, you just try to help the person to become the best version of themselves. God
That's
bless
right.
you.
Thank you, Pastor Clive. You got to love that person. Help them to become the best version of themselves. We all, Pastor Clive, have said we're all handful. Some of us are mouthful. Sister Pat says it's also sad every time. Go pray about it. That's right. God will see you through. Yes, God will see us through it, but we must also use wisdom. Teresa says it only works if both partners are willing to go for help. Lady Pat continues by saying, us Christians like to push things under the carpet and pretend that all is well when we know we're dying inside and out. And that's where we're going to talk about another form of forgiveness next week when we come back on. Let me put a wrap on things this morning. Rebuilding a relationship after trust has been broken. Let me go again, Pastor. Oh, yeah, I'm there. Good. Wonderful. Rebuilding a relationship after trust has been broken. It's a profound journey that requires patience, vulnerability, and a commitment from both partners to grow and heal. By openly addressing concerns, setting clear boundaries, and consistently working on communication and accountability, it is possible to create a renewed foundation rooted in respect and understanding. Even small steps taken together, whether through acts of kindness, honest conversations, or celebrating progress, helps to reinforce the bond and foster a sense of safety moving forward. Ultimately, the process of reintegrating a partner into a relationship is not about erasing the past, but about learning from it and choosing to build something stronger in its wake. Leaning on supportive resources, embracing forgiveness, and maintaining shared goals are all essential elements of lasting change. While the path may be challenging at times, the rewards of restored trust and deeper intimacy can be well worth the effort, offering hope for a more resilient and loving partnership. On behalf of the entire production team, we want to remind you that true strength lies not only in physical endurance, but in the courage to confront challenges, to welcome vulnerability, and support one another throughout the process. Thank you for joining us on the Ironman Empowerment Podcast. Keep moving forward. And remember that every step, no matter how small, carries you closer to your most empowered self. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. And be sure to join us again for more inspiration and insight. Remember, we're not just talk, we are informative. Shalom.
Rise Up 2026 is here. Starting March 21st, 10 a.m., we kick things off with a powerful roundtable discussion with pastors and ministry leaders from all over Parkland and beyond. Then we take it deeper with an afternoon teaching session with Pastor Brett, author of The Hope Habit. And we're not done yet. Our Now Generation sessions are happening simultaneously and is going to be next level for full of teaching, discussion, and fun designed for the youth. Saturday night, don't miss the dynamic word from Elder Craig Irish. Sunday morning, we're blessed to hear from Elder Benito Grange. And whatever you do, don't skip Sunday night. Join us for Praise in the Parkland, a powerful worship experience you won't soon forget. Rise up, be equipped, be inspired for what's happening in 2020.
In a world filled with noise and uncertainty, tune into the Voices of Reason with Chaplain Ingrid Gentles every Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us for uplifting conversations, inspiring stories, and biblical insights that will empower you to navigate life challenges with faith and confidence, where faith meets reality. Join the conversation on HGG Radio, live on YouTube, and social media. Don't miss it.
Hello, listeners. This is Pastor Liston England inviting you to come and let's dive into the truth. Join me every Sunday at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Truth Be Told podcast on HGG Radio, where we're taking you to higher ground. We'll be taking a look at biblical eschatology, exploring the promise of the rapture and what it means for you. Tune in to gain a deeper understanding of where we are in world history and how close we'll be to the coming of Jesus Christ. Don't you miss it. Sundays at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on HGG Radio.
A revolution is coming to the Hope of Glory Morning Show. Get ready for the pulsating, electrifying, inspiring, and motivating 2 hours of music, word, health, and wealth. Mondays to Fridays from 6 to 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Right here on HGG Radio. Join me, your host, Rashane Douglas, the Christ in me, the hope of glory. That's the new time for the Hope of Glory morning show. Mondays to Fridays from 6 to 8 a.m. right here on HGG Radio. Visit our website, hggradio.ca, or download the HGG Radio mobile app. See you soon.
You know, when I first came to Canada 20-something years ago, all I want was Jamaican food, Jamaican food, Jamaican food.
Looking for a Jamaican restaurant in Edmonton? A Yamida Jamaican restaurant and bakery. Get your oxtail, curry goat, jerk chicken, rice and peas, ackee and saltfish, fried dumplings, patties, and so much more. A Yamida Jamaican restaurant and bakery. Opening hours Mondays to Thursdays 11 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Visit them today at 4435 118 Avenue or call 780-479-1900. Everybody now, get ready to be inspired with HGG Radio, your 24/7 gospel music companion in Edmonton, reaching the world. Owned and operated by Higher Ground Tabernacle Ministry, we feature a diverse range of styles from traditional hymns to contemporary hits and proudly showcase local Canadian talent. From Afro-Caribbean rhythms to inspiring programs, educational segments, and anointed and empowering announcers. Experience the full richness of gospel music, plus be nourished by the undiluted, rich word of God shared through powerful teachings and inspiring messages. Tune in for dynamic shows, life-changing truths, and uplifting music to boost your faith journey. Visit www.hggradio.ca, download our app, and partner with us to spread the joy. Call us at 825-343-4486. Let the power of gospel music and the word of God fill your heart and home. HGG Radio, reaching you at the highest mountain and the lowest valley.
He is worthy to be praised.
HGG Radio.
Let me go now. Say, so shall I be saved from my enemies. The Lord and blessed be the rock, and let the God of my salvation be exalted. The Lord and blessed be the rock, and let the God of my salvation. Every night, thank God. Call me a call. Call me a call. Call me a call from the Lord, who is worthy to be praised. With our hats to him we raise. Call me a call, call me a call. Call me a call, call me a call from the Lord. He is worthy to be praised. I will call, say I will call upon the Lord. I will call upon the Lord. You are worthy.
HGG Radio.
Oh my God, I'm gonna call upon the Lord. Who is worthy to be praised? Are you ready? So shall I be saved from my enemies, the Lord. And blessed be the rock, and let the God of my salvation be exalted. The Lord, and blessed be the rock, and let the God of my salvation be exalted. I just love this part. The Lord reigns. And blessed be the rock, and let the God of my salvation be exalted. The Lord reigns. And blessed be the rock, and let the God of my salvation be exalted. We are picking up. Call me a call. 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 In the morning call. In the evening call. In the nighttime call. In the nighttime call. When they sick me a call. When they well me a call. In the trouble me a call. He is the name. HGG Radio.
Because you know that God is going to give
You just start to declare over yourself, over your family. HGG Radio.
I want you to declare it in the atmosphere because you know that God is going to give you life. Even in your weakness, even in your sickness, the enemy won't take you out.
Ladies,
begin to declare it in your life. Declare it over a loved one. Declare it over your church brother. Declare it over your church sister. They shall not die, but live and declare the works of the living God. Come on. Oh, I love it. I know you love it too. Oh, 1,000. Even 10,000. But it won't. Jehovah Shammah is with me. I feel the declaring
HGG Radio.
He gives his angels charge over me, and they always keep me.
He give his angel charge.
Camping around me. I know I shall not die. I shall not is right by my side. I shall not die. Everyone say one more time. I shall not die. I shall not die. I shall not is right by my side. I shall not die. There are more with you than there are against you. Pastor Dean Smith.
I want somebody to know right now that the spirit that lives inside of you is greater than everything around you. Spirit that rose Jesus from the dead is living inside of you and is leading battle. I want you to stamp your feet and clap your hands like you know you got victory, like you know you have already won, like you know that you have already you. Sing that again. Yes.
I got the victory.
You got the victory.
I got the victory.
We got the victory.
I got the victory.
Oh, yes.
We got the victory. We got the victory. We got the victory. We got the victory.
Come on. Shout out to God. Shout out to God with the voice of triumph. Come on, clap your hands and begin to shout as we make a declaration. You shall not die.
Our God, Jermaine Gordon did this one. Hey,
HGG Radio.
Holy and righteous. Oh yes.
All right, this is where we pull things down on Facebook and YouTube. But of course, you can go all over to the app. Stick and stay with us right here on HGG Radio.
Nobody like you, God. Everybody say, you are holy and righteous. Holy and righteous. Oh, Lord. You are Lord. Can you just imagine the angels flying?
Get ready for a new level of impact. This is season 3 of the Iron Man Empowerment Podcast. We're diving deep into the body of Christ with thought-provoking topics, motivational talks, and the tools every man needs to lead his family with power and purpose.
Introducing Pastor Rod Charles,
Pastor Clive Atkinson,
Bishop Upton Morris,
And I am your host, Elder Edmund Muir. Together, we're the Iron Man team, and we're here to sharpen one another. Catch us every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern or 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on HGG Radio, the Iron Man Empowerment Podcast. Real men, real talk, kingdom empowerment. Remember, we're not just talk, we are informative.